Hey everyone, this is Jennifer with DP Addiction Adventures. I am so excited to be back. I was out of touch as far as my channel because we had a soccer tournament, and this coming weekend we will have another soccer tournament, and it just kills me not to be with you guys. I try to watch some lives, 5 or 10 minutes here and there, but then there's all the soccer parents and everything like that. And so it's just really hard for me to stay connected, but I'm super excited this week to be back. And I just have a couple things that I want us to talk about and to work on. And so tonight I'm super excited to continue my series of Confessions of a Goodie Tushu. So before we do that, I just want to show you, this was my bedroom project that I brought to my craft area so I could finish it up. I am doing a special drill project now upstairs. But this is Cinderella by Diamond Art Club, or created by Mandy Manzano, produced by Diamond Art Club. It is a round, and it is 42 by 59 centimeters, and it has one AB color, which stands for Aurora Borealis. I have said to people that it reminds me of the difference between a sparkle and then a sequence. So you've got the sparkle of a diamond, or you've got like the glitter or covering of like a sequence that gives you that 3-dimension rainbow kind of feel. So that is a little bit in her dress. I haven't really done a lot. There's a couple through here, but it's coming. It's all scattered throughout down here. So super excited about that. This one color I'm working on just does not want to go on this painting. I have spilt it like 5 times since I started the painting, so I can't wait to be done with $9.91. I'll tell you that much. I just stopped picking them up off the floor down by my feet right now before I went on to the video, because I'm like, I'm just gonna go until I see if I need more. If I need more, I'll pick more up off the floor. If I don't, then I will vacuum them up, because I'm just at my wit's end about spilling these silly drills. The reason they're spilled is I was too stubborn. There's 33 colors, and this only fits 24 or 27 depending on what way you position the squares for Harbor Freight. Again, if you want these, they're down below in my description for Harbor Freight. And so the ones that didn't fit, I just have in these little trays, and they're partially open. And so if I accidentally grab it the wrong way, it spills everywhere. So it's my own fault for being a klutz and doing that. All right, so let's get into this Confessions of a Goodie Tushu. So this one I'm a little bit embarrassed about, but I'm gonna go ahead and say what happened. So I'm not a big drinker. I'm what you would call less than a casual drinker for alcohol. I didn't really want to drink before 21. I really didn't have the money nor the desire to drink. Many of my friends didn't drink, and so I did not have that peer pressure. The campus I lived on is a dry campus, and so I lived on the campus apartments, and there was a night that, this was my junior year, and we decided, hey, you know what? We had one friend that was over 21 and went out and bought a 12-pack of Mike's Hard Lemonade and brought it into the apartment. And so we were all sitting around, and we just had opened up, all of us, this Mike's Hard Lemonade. Now, I was one of like 3 people out of the 6 of us that were chilling that had not had any alcohol before in our life. And so I was so excited to like, oh my gosh, I'm being a rebel. I'm going to have this alcohol. Well, I had told my boyfriend, who is now my husband, that because he was, I don't know if he was working or he had homework or something, he wasn't with us. And I told him that we had this Mike's Hard Lemonade, and he was jealous. And so to get into the apartment building, there were 12 apartments per building, 4 on each floor, and we were on the 3rd floor. To get in, if you did not have a card clearance for the apartments, you had to buzz in. So you called the last 4 digits of the apartment phone number, and it rang the phone once, and you could pick it up and you could hit a button and it buzzed somebody in. Well, my husband decided that because he must have been somewhere on campus working, he called and he was like, granted, he was not my husband at the time, and he said, "This is campus safety, here to do inspections of the apartments," or something like that. We flipped out because we were all Goodie Tushus, and we like ran to the sink, poured all the alcohol out. I had not even tasted it. Threw the bottles under the couch cushions, sat down and went to answer the door, and it was nobody. I was so pissed. So I realized, well, I'll tell you this in a minute. So we had another friend who came over, and he was a sophomore. We were juniors, and he lived in the dorms across the way. And so he came, but he did not have a card that would get him into the apartments because he was from the dorm. So he goes to call, and the phone rings once, and this was literally probably 2 or 3 minutes after the first call from my now husband. And he's like, we heard the phone ring, the one ring, and so we knew it was on campus. We thought it was the buzzer again, which it was. And so we had just all sat back down. We had just all opened our second round, and we flipped out again, and half of us poured out our stuff. The other half didn't care and was like, we're just going to get in trouble because I don't want to waste the alcohol. And realized that it was our friend who drinks alcohol all the time wanting to come in. So I never got to drink alcohol that night. I was so sad. And what I was going to tell you is, stupid me, campus safety's not going to buzz in. Campus safety has keys. What is wrong with us? We were so dumb. Like, so yeah, that was just, I still look back and it's like embarrassing, and it's like me trying to not be a Goodie Tushu, and in the end I was still a Goodie Tushu, and oh my goodness, I was so pissed at my husband, Tim. I was just like, oh my gosh, like I finally was gonna have something to drink, and I ended up pouring it out twice, one because of you and one because of Matt, this other guy who was coming over to visit us, because he heard that we were having this low-key get-together because we all hung out. There was like 9 of us that all hung out together, and he was part of that. And so I'm just like, oh my goodness, silly, silly, silly. So that is one of my confessions of being a Goodie Tushu. I just can't win, people. I can't win. It's serious. I always, always, always get caught. So yeah, that was something else. All right, I had another one. Let me just think for a minute because, trying to think. Because I had one in my brain before I hit the on button. I have another one, but I'm not going to share it right now. I think I'm going to wait for a live because I want to like real time see you laughing, because I still pee my pants when I tell the story. So I'm gonna wait for that one. So maybe that live will be part 3, because I wanted this to be a 3-part series. So maybe I'll have that live be the 3rd part. All right, where did my 991 go? Here we go. Just gonna dump them all out because the rest of them are on the floor. I'm so silly. Trying to think here. I really am a goody two-shoe. I'll tell you, one time it backfired on me, and you guys can feel really sorry for me and understand why I'm still in therapy over it. Yes, this therapist is in therapy. I do highly recommend it. I'm not going to be something that I wouldn't trust or refer somebody to. So, if you are in therapy, you are in good company, because we all need somebody to be there and support us. So that's my little soapbox. Okay. So in high school, I had a best friend, and this friend, like, we were sisters. I mean, seriously, she would come over and spend a couple nights with me, then I would go over to her house and spend a couple nights over there, and it was just this back and forth, back and forth. We were in the same youth group at church. We went to the same school. I was a junior, she was a sophomore. We just hit it off. Super great. And I loved her as a sister. And hopefully I won't cry telling the story, because this still is really raw to me. But yeah, so she told me that her self-esteem was super low, and she's beautiful, but she was just like, nobody likes me. Nobody thinks I'm smart. She was a C student, like a CB student, and I was an AB student. And so she's just like, you know, whatever, and I'm always struggling. Well, I decided, stupid me, stupid, that I would make up somebody who had a crush on her. And so I had a guy friend who signed these letters for me that I would write like once a week about this guy who had a crush on her, and he would leave them in her locker, and she would tell me about this guy who liked her, and she was so excited. And I just was like, finally my guilt got the better of me. And I was like, this is not cool. I can't be doing this to her. This is not fair to her. And it's going to prevent her from liking somebody else. And so I remember it was before a chemistry, the final, like the, I think it was like the December final before Christmas. And chemistry I struggled in a little bit. And I told her beforehand, I was like, I just want to come clean, and I just want to tell you I made this person up. And this was like between the classes, so we only had 4 minutes to change classes. And she annihilated me. She was just like, how dare you? I can't believe this. We are not friends anymore. And she meant it. Like, I ended up failing the chemistry test or final because I couldn't stop crying. And I tried to repair it for 1.5 years because, you know, I was a junior. And I just was like, I am so sorry. Like, I am stupid. It's my fault. And she did not talk to me for 1.5 years. And I would pray for her, and I would try to write her encouragement notes. And, you know, from a distance, like, I still really cared about her like a sister. And, you know, not in a romantic way, but like, I really did love her, you know, and I still have that feeling of respect and admiration, and I care for her. we're technically Facebook friends. Like, we didn't really ever make up, but she allowed me to be a Facebook friend, and so sometimes I'll go on there and I won't say anything, but I'll like just kind of see what she's up to and pray for her and just, you know, wish her well in my heart. And, you know, I'm not perfect, and we're not perfect people. And when people screw up, there's a difference between screwing up out of animosity and screwing up out of stupidity and ignorance. And, you know, you've got to look at that intent. And I totally get that she was hurt. But, like, her parents stopped talking to me, and they were like second parents to me. And, you know, I wish that we could have rectified it, and I wish, you know, but she's like, I can't trust you ever again. And that is so vital. Like, that was a lesson I learned on trust. And when somebody lies to me or somebody does something, I can't trust them ever again. Like, that is now ingrained in me of how much hurt that I hurt somebody else. I mean, that's how much I hurt now, is somebody betrays me. And so I would say I mean, that was high school. That was 98, 99. So that was 20 years ago. And it still hurts, you know. Not as bad, but I still mourn the loss of that friendship, because I just think, oh my gosh, we could have been friends through college. We could have, she's not married as of like a year ago. I haven't really checked up on her. So it's not like our kids could have grown up together, but I just, that one's a hard one. And I just put it out there for everybody to know my stupidity. You know, but no matter how good your heart is, you're going to screw up. You're going to fail. We're all human. And so we just need to give each other grace. We need to look at, what was the intent? Is this a pattern? Is this their character, you know, or does this go against their character? Did they just make a mistake? Those kind of things, you know. And if we're really hurt, yes, I'm not saying just throw forgiveness out there. But process it. Try to work through it. Try to figure out, why were you hurt? Is there a way to get over it? Is there a way to forgive? Is there a way to rebuild? You know, because I don't know. If I had someone like me who cared about me no matter what I did and respected me and looked out for me, I would not want to let that person go. And I just feel like she and I lost a lot that day by a mistake I made. So yeah, so I know that's not super funny compared to the other ones, but it is, you know, my confessions, and confessions don't always come up roses. So yeah, I'm not perfect. I never claimed to be. I'm gonna have to pick up these stupid green things off the floor, aren't I? I was hoping that maybe DAC gave me enough extras, but I really spilt like, you know, a fourth of the bag, so they would have had to overgive me significantly, more than 20% for me. So yeah, I'm trying to think of something else Goodie Tushu wise. I did steal when I was 5 by we were at a bookstore, and they had a bunch of those little fun pencil erasers and stickers and everything right by checkout. And so as my mom was checking out at the bookstore, I was filling up my jacket. And I can't remember if I knew they weren't free or if I thought they were free. I don't know. But my mom tells the story, and I remember doing it. I just don't remember my intent. But we get out to the car, and I start playing with these erasers, And usually when your kids are 5, you know most of the stuff they have. And she's like, where did you get those? I didn't know you had those. And I was like, from the store back there. And she's like, I didn't buy them. Like, no, they were right by the counter. And she's like, oh my gosh. So she had to turn back around. We walked up to the 2nd floor of the mall where the bookstore was. And I had to go apologize that I had stolen this stuff and give it back. And thankfully they didn't call the cops on me as a 5-year-old. That would have been hard to deal with the rest of my life, to have a misdemeanor or felony against me in grade school. But lesson learned, lesson learned. Yeah. So I heard a lot of comments from part 1 about many people out there who are goody two-shoes like me. And I would like to continue to hear from you guys, your fun, crazy stories, or if you are bad to the bone, or you consider yourself a goody two-shoe, because we've got to all stick together, right? And get each other's backs, so to speak. So I would be willing to bail you out of a jam if you ever went against your goody two-shoe nature. Absolutely. I do know one time I went out with my boyfriend and, oh, I've got to tell you this story. Oh my gosh, Mom, I'm so sorry. Close your ears. So I went out with this guy in college before I met my husband. And I'm going to have to pick a different color in a minute. Forgive the crinkle, but it's real, folks. If you diamond paint, the crinkle is real. So this guy, I still remember his name. Okay, so I'll tell you 2 stories. Just act like you're sitting with me in my living room. Kick back, grab a cup of coffee or a soda or water, iced tea, because these 2 stories go together. So when I was in college, well, when I was in high school, AOL started having instant message. Like, that's how I learned to type super fast, because I'd go back and forth between, you know, people in my school and different things like that. And then in college, when I would be writing my papers, because I didn't have a computer of my own, they had a computer lab in the basement of our dorm. So there was like 12 computers down there, and people who didn't have computers could go down and do their papers or surf the internet or whatever they wanted to do. So, pause just a second while I figure out. 3844. Is that what I want to do? Let's see here. We'll go with that. We'll see. So I was in the basement, and when I was doing my papers, I would get on instant message and I would talk to people. And there was this guy, Chris. And he and I talked, and I'm in West Michigan, and he was in Detroit area, so he was East Michigan. And, oops, wrong side. So I only have wax loaded on one side of my pen, and the other side's not going to pick it up because there's no wax in there. So he and I had been chatting for, 3-4 months, getting to know each other. We had talked on the phone. We've exchanged phone numbers. I didn't have a cell phone at the time, so it was all through, the landline with the cord. I'd sit in the hallway. Everyone walked past me and roll their eyes at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was a freshman. I was, trying to figure out my own way, being away from parents for the first time. And let's see what time it is. My kiddos should be home any minute from soccer, and I don't want her to come home in the middle of the story. So we decided that we were going to meet, and I did not have a reliable vehicle at the time, and he had just received a new car. And so he's like, I'll come over to you. So I'm like, all right, well, you know, I'll pay one way for gas. And he's like, great. So we set up this date. He's supposed to come at, I think, 8 o'clock. So I'm all ready by 8, and 8 comes, 8:15 comes. I think, oh, there's probably traffic. 8:30 comes. I'm like, great. Am I being stood up? 9 o'clock comes. I start calling him. Goes straight to voicemail. No answer. Now, he had a cell phone. These were the flip phones. And I'm like, great. So 10 o'clock comes. 10:30 comes. Then I was just going to be like, great, I'm stood up, whatever. But I decided to call the home number. And his brother answered, his younger brother. And he's like, yeah, he left at da-da-da-da-da. He's supposed to be there any minute now. And I'm like, okay. So now 11 o'clock comes. He's still not there. And I finally am like, I've been stood up. I was like, he better be dead on the side of the road or in jail. I am pissed off. And my self-esteem was already in the dirt. So I'm just like, he hasn't even seen me. I was stood up and this guy hasn't even seen me. So I go to bed and then I wake up and I get this phone call at 8:30 in the morning on a Saturday, and I answer it, and it's Chris. And I was like, where the hell are you? I was so mad. I normally don't say hell. I'm a goody two-shoe, remember? And he was like, I'm in jail. I was like, what the frick? I was like, you're in jail? He's like, yeah, I was coming to see you and I was running really late. And so in my car, I don't realize how fast I was driving. And I was going 90 and a 65, and I've already gotten 2 speeding tickets. And so in Michigan, if you get 3 tickets, you lose your license for a while. It's suspended. It's called 3 strikes and you're out. And I'm from Ohio. I didn't realize this. And I really had not gotten a speeding ticket by that time. And so I was like, well, what did you do? Why are you in jail? And he said, I tried to outrun the cop. It's like, seriously? He's like, I'm sorry. I'm a 19-year-old boy in a sports car coming to see a girl, and I didn't want to lose my license. And, well, he lost his license, and he ended up getting bailed out, but his car was in the impound, and 2 months later, he ended up having to go back to jail for 2 months. And it was all because he was coming to see me. And I was like, oh my gosh. Ugh. So granted, it wasn't me in trouble, but that was like me trying to meet a guy from online. And yeah, so we had to meet up again. So I had to meet this guy who went to jail, quote unquote, for me. That's how I like to put it. So once he got out of jail the first time, because he was only in it for like one night, and then he was able to post bond or bail or whatever it's called. So we decided to meet up again, except this time, well, he did come to me. So we went out and saw a movie, and there was like instant chemistry. And so we go out to the parking lot, and I had not really kissed anybody before. I mean, I had, but I hadn't, I hadn't made out with anybody. And so we had seen like an 11 o'clock show, and so it was like 12:30, 1 o'clock, and he was going to take me back to the dorm. Again, I'm a freshman. I'm, 18 years old, and we go out in the car and we start kissing, and it was really cold out, and nothing happened at all. But because we were in the car for so long, the windows fogged up. And I swear, I'm a goody two-shoe, nothing happened. But I was so embarrassed because I don't make out with people, but I was. And all of a sudden, we hear this knock, knock, knock on the passenger window. And that's when I realized, uh-oh, all the windows are fogged up. This looks really bad. We were so stupid. We were in the front row, like the parking spot next to the handicap spot of this movie theater, fogging up the windows, and the security guard was knocking on the window wondering what we were doing. So we rolled down the windows, and I mean, we're fully dressed, we're not doing anything, like really out of the blue. That's, you know, I don't do that kind of stuff. And oh my gosh, I was so embarrassed. I turned beet red. And he was like, whatever. I mean, I'm like, okay, is this something you do every day? Like, do you get... So yeah, that was interesting. So I know a lot of these stories are college years. I do have a couple good ones of after college that I'm going to save for my live. I don't know when that's going to be. I'll keep you posted. I may have a live before, but I'll let you guys know when it's going to be the Goodie Tushu live. I'll make sure. Because I got to take notes. I got to make sure that I write down the stories I want to hit and I'm not all over the place. But I just kind of wanted to share part 2 of Goodie Tushu, Confessions of a Goodie Tushu. So I would love to hear from you. You tell me how you're doing. You tell me how much of a Goodie Tushu you are, and tell me those stories. And I'll keep sharing from my heart. So I hope this brought you laughter. I hope it made you think about your own funny times. And until next time, be blessed. Happy diamond painting, and I'll see you soon.